We looked up your Wikipedia.
Nice. Was it good?
Yeah. Well, we looked up your Wikipedia, and what stood out to us was you got a 43 on the Wonder League.
Smart.
Is that your smart?
Smart.
Is that your crowning achievement?
That won't go away unless CTE sets on early.
Yeah, smart. Wow. Hey,
dark early.
Jokes up top, dude.
I mean, it's real.
Yeah.
Wait, but he said he took it like the average score is like a 19. Is that true? And you got double?
I don't know what the average score is.
For wide receivers, it's 19.7.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't even know what's
I'm
on
not
it.
your typical wide receiver either. I'm the 1 in 8 percentage of being a white guy in the receiver room is.
Hey. Too early. Hey.
And this is how we always classify ourselves. We're the token white guy. That's just how it is. Because we're, truly.
Well, is there like I was going to ask this because my buddy had my buddy Will has a kid that's like, he's 8 or 9 or something like that. And they're moving. His family's moving. And he told his son that they were moving. And he goes, he just was, crestfallen. He goes, this ruins my chances of going to the NBA. Which is like, it's a hilarious story for an 8 or 9-year-old kid.
Yeah.
But I go, when I think about like Randy Moss or this guy or LeBron in high school, these guys weren't competitive. They were freaks.
Men above boys.
Is everybody in the
Most.
league like that? At the top is a freak.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's the level of, I guess, skill.
Yeah.
Is so much tighter. Like you go to college and you got a couple studs.
I'm already hyped.
Unless you go to Alabama, who has a slew of first-round draft picks.
Yeah.
You might be, again, men amongst boys, but
Yeah.
for the most part, when you get to the NFL, like the difference is so small, the game becomes mental.
Yeah. It's like golf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's LeBron's whole thing too. That's
Yeah.
why he's like, I'm a student of the game forever. Always like, that's the only way that you can make that separation at that level. It's crazy.
And how about that guy? He's 38. He's like averaging 26.
Doing it.
Yeah.
8,
Just
7,
doing it.
like
And he'll average 35 again if he goes to the playoffs. Like that's
shooting 50+%. I mean, I just don't get how you can be so consistent.
Well, I remember, so we did this like, what was it, like a celebrity softball tournament or something like that. And they have a bunch of athletes, right? And there's a bunch of actors and musicians and everybody. And this guy, how tall are you?
6'3".
All right, 6'3". I'm 6'2", kind of. Something depends.
same.
And we get all out there, and they're like, and how much do you weigh?
220.
Okay, I weigh. It's about, we got 50 pounds on me. Well, we were just like, everybody's out there because Cortland was out there, and like there's other football players, and this guy's just mashing home runs, and I go, oh yeah, it's different, yeah. This guy's mashing home runs.
I didn't
bro.
know you played ball in college too.
Played baseball.
You played baseball, yeah.
In college, yeah. That was actually my first passion was baseball. I wanted to be Kirby Puckett, if you guys know.
Good pick.
Kirby
We're the
Puckett
same
was.
age, dude. Yeah, we know who Kirby Puckett is. Yeah.
So, I mean, I grew up in Minnesota, and Twins were, and still are, the only team I root for forever.
Yeah,
And
Twins.
Kirby Puckett was like, every day I have his jersey on. I was like left-handed, but I would stand on the right side of the plate because my dad didn't know. And just super confusing.
Thanks, Dad.
But soon figured it out. Like, okay, just go to the other side.
I always thought that because with like the shame thing from religion is like if you like I would like I'm 3 years sober now, but when I would drink, that God would be the way we grew up. You're a bad person. You're a bad Christian. Don't say you're a Christian because you're associated. And no Christian would get drunk. And now I feel like God would, if I was at a bar, like I remember this picture at like a Holiday Inn in like Norfolk, like by the airport after a show, making, it wasn't like the rap song. I'll tell you that it was not like the rap song. And I'm sitting there drinking at the bar, right? And I feel like God would be like, man, that's a bummer. Like I got a better plan for him. I'm not mad at him though. He's sad. I get that he's sad. I got a better plan for him. I would like to help him, but I'm not mad at him. I'm not gonna point the finger at him. That's what I feel like God would be. Yeah, versus like we're gonna condemn you to hell or something like that.
Yeah. Well, and
you would think the same about your kids though.
Yeah. But I think like that to me, like is so conditional. You know?
Yeah.
Like you can't love your kid because he's doing the right thing. Like you got to love your kid because you decide exactly. You decided to have this child, and like you love him unconditionally. And I think so much, whether it's sometimes love or if it's how you look at people, it's just super conditional. And I think that's where, like, as a spiritual foundation, like that God loves you no matter what you do, and we're all sinners and we all make mistakes. But as long as you're trying to be on that path of good, but like you don't touch Tebow, like he is.
No, we know that, bro. Yeah, you could. Why weren't you bowing next to him? Where were you? Didn't he do that?
Kneeling.
Didn't he? Yeah, kneeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the thing. He would kneel. And
he was kneeling before it became trendy.
Yeah, and then all the Christians. Yeah, he was kneeling for a different reason.
Yeah,
he was.
Then all the Christians were like, "He's our guy." You were there through those seasons.
Yeah, we got drafted together. I love Tim. I'm actually going to his.
I like Tim too.
Foundation here this next weekend, but I love to razz him too because he's easily.
Yeah.
You can joke on him.
Oh well, he was a baseball guy too.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
How about that career?
He got a good sense of humor though.
So we're in Denver, playoff game. I don't know how we got to the playoffs this season. We were like scored very little points.
I remember this, dude.
But there was like 3 churches singing homilies as we walked in. Yeah. I'm like, this was like the most profound.
Wait, walking into moment. Where?
Like, so
you would walk in?
Our parking lot was like kind of away from the tunnel. We had to walk about 300 yards from the parking lot to underneath the stadium. I swear to God, they were like,
really?
Like how they were
robes.
The robes, yeah.
And they were singing
homilies.
Like, you didn't get. They weren't hired by this team.
No,
they were just pulled up.
They came out of good faith for Tim. Like he is the savior, and I'm like trying to just take it all in. I'm like, you do not see this.
This is wild.
And
wait, would they roast him about it in the locker room?
I mean, he's untouchable. I mean, for sure they would.
Yeah, but
they would say. I mean, he was a good teammate, so it's hard to roast him in the locker room. But from afar, you'd be like,
"Wow, this is wild,
like,
dude.
Is this Jesus? Like,
is he Jesus?
Yes.
Yeah. You really got to check for a sec. Like, let me just make sure.
There's books written on that season because we had like 8 comebacks.
That was the Pittsburgh season, right?
Yeah, the Pittsburgh season.
Yeah, when he won. Yeah, the playoff of the flat.
Yeah.
Who was that pass to?
Demarius Thomas.
Yeah, from Georgia Tech.
Yep.
Yes.
DT. Rest in peace.
Okay. Yes. That
was the game that we got the homily sung to us walking in.
Wow. Okay, you did. Yeah. Was that a wild card game?
Yeah, it was a wild card game.
Y'all against the Steelers.
Yep.
Oh, and you were like 8-8 or something, right?
We squeaked in 8-8.
Power of prayer, baby. Power of prayer.
It's true.
That's awesome.
Wait, so he got, because I remember at Florida when he was like, "We will never, no one will work harder than us."
Yeah.
And you were in college.
Yeah.
You must have seen that.
Correct.
But y'all weren't, Minnesota wasn't great.
No.
Yeah.
We were middle of the road.
But you were a freak. Or what were you doing?
We had a good offense. Like we had a good
middle of the road. All right. Yeah.
Did you play Florida in college?
7-5 or something like that?
We didn't, no.
No. All right.
Yeah.
So then you get drafted. You both get drafted to Denver?
To Denver.
Okay.
We roomed together for training camp.
Yeah, 2 white Christian guys. Yeah, you got to be like, dude, and you're a receiver. He's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Both baseball guys, perfect.
Do you get to choose?
No, they choose for you.
So they were like, these 2 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Made sense.
And then was he like just working? Did you like to work as hard as he did?
I mean, that is what amazed me the most. This guy would be out there outrunning receivers with like a weight vest on, like a 45-pound weight vest on, sprinting. I'm like, who is this guy? He's like the Hulk.
And he just,
that's why he was so great. I mean, I think from a mechanical standpoint of a quarterback, like obviously he had some flaws, but there's no one that was going to outwork him.
That's incredible, dude. I like stories like that.
Does he have an off switch? Or is he always that guy?
I haven't seen an off switch. He is always that guy. And, for a while, you're like, hey, is this, a facade? And it's like, no, it's real. It's just who he is. Yeah, I think he's just like, he knows who he is, and he believes in himself, and he's going to be Tim. Tim is Tim. And like, always smiley, always bubbly, always happy, go lucky. It's just like, man.
Oh, maybe that's just who he is. Yeah, like I always imagined he like finally closes the hotel room door and goes, I hate these people. Or like there's stuff in his mouth with pizzas. There's no way. Yeah. No. And that's what I think what is, you see someone like that. I mean, I don't know if it was around that time, but you could probably look it up. Remember that he said he was going to be like a virgin till he got married?
Yeah.
Was that like around?
I was around. I asked him too. I was like,
yes, dude, you did.
I was like, come on.
Look up Ashley Madison, Tim Tebow thing. Because Ashley Madison is that website where you, it's like a confidential, like you can cheat on your spouse website. And that website offered $1 million if someone could prove that they had sex with Tim Tebow.
Wow.
So basically what they're saying is what you were saying. He was like, I choose to live. Yeah, see, dating website offers $1 million to anyone who can prove. So basically they're saying he's chosen to live like this, right? And let's say spirituality aside, just the way he proved that he chooses to go about the game of football. A guy that's kind of lazy, not lazy, but maybe shows up late, doesn't do the film study, hates a guy like that.
Correct.
Because he is a mirror to, and so when you are behaving in a way morally and this guy says, I am choosing to live this way, they hate that.
They do. Because it makes
your whole website and your whole business, you're like, I'm not with that.
Yeah.
And they violently oppose to that.
And it sucks because like I don't think I even truly encompass or realize like what kind of soul and person he was. Because a lot of these guys that make it, like that's your way out of your living situation.
Into the money wise, into the league.
Into the league, whether it's money or it's just situation, like you're surviving. And so the true athletes that make it to the highest level, I feel like have some trauma they've been through or like have survived, and that was their energy.
Football might have been the only thing they had.
Exactly, that was their vessel.
Sure.
To getting out of call it the hood or call it your living situation, whatever it may be. And it's like you get a guy who's wholesome in that sense, who had a good upbringing that I know of, had a good family, had a good spiritual foundation. Like it's like, wow, this is different. Like this
guy's different.
Yeah.
So So they go, to what box do you put him in? You're like, well, why? If you're like, I need to get a contract to get my family out of it, but what's this? This guy's just, he seemed like he had a great life outside of football. And like, what is this? Why is this guy, his alarm going off at 4 a.m. and he's drinking chocolate milk and raw eggs? And I don't know what he's doing, but I don't know. Is that what you do? I don't know. I don't know.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Chocolate milk.
You're drinking chocolate milk and raw.
My 4-year-old loves chocolate milk.
Yeah, I drank one on the way in here.
Did
so
you?
Good.
Well, what happened when Peyton came? Was you there?
Yeah. I mean, that changed the landscape of my career.
Well, what happened with Tim? Did you say, "Hey, dude, good to see you"? Or do you remember our conversation?
Yeah, I wasn't around.
I don't know why we're getting on Tim Tebow, but I do. I didn't.
It was
I forgot about
off-season move, so none of us were at the facility.
Yeah, so nobody was around.
So like it was kind of like, hey, thanks for everything. Best.
Yeah,
of luck.
you would see it on TV or something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of how I found out.
Dang.
And then you would text him.
That's cold.
Yeah.
Just like ESPN bottom line, like, oh, my guy's gone.
That's sometimes.
No, I think he was going to stay, right? Or he was never going to stay.
Elway always had a plan to get him out. I think just because he didn't fit the prototypical.
Yeah, he's not John Elway. Yeah, sure. Yeah. But who drafted him? That was before Elway.
So Josh McDaniels.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Was the head coach and GM. And then he got canned.
Yeah.
And Elway came in as GM, and then they brought John Fox.
But you got to secretly be like, bummer for my guy, but like, what's up?
Yeah. Career-wise,
you had to.
For sure.
Yeah.
Good for me coming across the middle, right?
Yeah,
that'll be nice.
I mean, you could only go in and block a safety so many times a game without being like, listen,
dang, dude,
sign up for this.
Yeah. Well, you always find some of those guys that they're like, you hear that he's like disgruntled, right? You hear that he's not getting the ball enough, not being targeted enough, not whatever. Yeah. And you see the guy kind of sitting on did you ever like, would people ever see like Eric Decker's not happy?
I'm sure.
But if you threw 3 times, a game,
I'm sure teammates would say so, but that was the whole receiver group. I mean, we became.
Oh, yeah. Who was in it? Demarius.
You. myself, Matt Willis.
Yep. When was Peyton Hillis?
Peyton Hillis was there before me.
Yeah.
Peyton Hillis. I'm trying to think who else was there.
there.
Because honestly, Tebow was like the fourth receiver one game. He actually lined up at receiver.
Of course he did. Tim Tebow was actually coaching one game. Yeah.
Was there ever like
Manning came in?
Was there ever like I'm not getting the ball, but like he's doing the Lord's work, so like I gotta kind of get out of the way and play my role here?
There was that overwhelming fourth quarter sensation. Like, you know what? This game has been boring.
Yeah.
Horrible. Like my head's spinning because I've gotten hit by a safety so many times. But it's like, you know what? We're still in this.
Yeah.
And
how are we in this game?
For example, like
it's like 12-10 or something like that. Yeah.
12-10.
13-10 or something.
And like Chicago is up honestly by 2 scores. We're like, this game's over. Well, they fumbled. We picked it up, scored. And all of a sudden you're like, okay, here we go again. Like you could just feel the presence of Tebow just rising to the top. And next thing you know, he runs 50 yards, scores a touchdown. We win the ball game. We're like, okay, that was expected all along. Yeah. Our kicker also had like probably 5 game winners of like 60-yard field goals. So
boom. What was his name?
Matt Prater.
Matt Prater. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, a stud.
Well, I wonder if there's like the easy, like, to give yourself over to something of a spirit of like otherworldly, right? So like some by chance thing happens where you go, there has to be something else. You almost get in this near car wreck, or like if you're Mark Wahlberg and you're going to get on that plane that goes into 9/11 and you don't get on it, and you go, even if you're an atheist, you gotta be like,
there's something power.
Something, yeah. There's something else at work here.
Yeah.
And I think humans have always, religious or not, have been like wanting that.
Yeah.
Or to contextualize your life, there's a good versus an evil, and the good, the prevailing of the good.
Yep.
Yeah. Because the Tebow stuff, like, and I've felt it myself in my own career, is like if the Christian community like embraces you, you become. Unfortunately, all humans are still humans, but they knight you almost in a way to like, please be the guy that we want you to be.
You know what? Like, obviously, not to get super religious, but like the power of prayer for me too is so real. Like it's crazy how when you
to God or to Tim, who are you praying for?
It was to Tim for about 12 weeks
until the passes stopped coming.
They shifted.
Were you given yourself over to like what I would call the Holy Spirit to say, hey, this is my plan for the day. If you would like to intervene here, if you have a better plan, or if you like lead me in that way, right? In my conversations, lead me in the plan that you would have for me is a strange mindset. You know what I'm saying? Because financially you make different choices with your family, you make different choices, certainly with your kids. You're like, and if you call like the whatever, the intuition, or somebody said the Holy Spirit spoke to me. You're like, well, if you're walking down the street and you see someone that's homeless and you have a burden to
serve or help,
something like something other than you, right, outside of yourself, that you're guided by that. And a lot of guys, especially in the league, that have got all the money, right, you've had all the fame, all the success, and you go, oh, the only thing here is others, to help others, right?
It's incredible. I mean, like how selfish we are as a culture or society. But like, there's no better feeling to serve others, right? I mean, like, it's a lost art, because all you're doing is you're in this rat race chasing, success, fame, wealth, materials, whatever it is. But like, those things fulfill you for a second, but like the true fulfillment, and like you can feel it in your soul.
This man is preaching, bro.
In your body is like when
you
help others and you see kind of the compounding effect that it has. I mean,
we were going to ask you, what is the difference between the baseball guys and football guys? You ever been asked that before?
I haven't. But I will say that guys, I always
feel like, because I always feel like I could lose my girl to a baseball guy, not a football guy.
Really?
Yeah. Not now. I'm just saying.
Eric's offended.
He's like, huh. No, because I feel like.
Please explain.
No, because the football guys, you got the majority. What percentage of that locker room is like linemen and like specialty players? Like 60, 70, 80 probably.
No. 40.
Okay.
30,
and then you got
30, 40.
The freak like receivers and the quarterback and like the if you walk in, I remember in like college, the guys would walk down. You would know 2, 3 of them, maybe because of the helmets. But the baseball guys, well, I was looking over my shoulder for the baseball guys around the university. Dude, they carry themselves different.
That's interesting.
You think so or not?
Well, I will say that the mentality is completely different of just what you get from football to baseball. Baseball is one of those sports where I remember during spring training, I'm out there in the baseball field, taking infield, outfield, catching some fly balls, standing there eating seeds, and I can hear the hip hop music and just like banging to the pads, like
over there at football,
just right across this little pedestrian walkway.
Yeah,
and I'm like, to me, that kind of signifies the difference. You got this like, battle mentality to like this
technical,
this chill, very skilled, technical oriented sport where it's like it is all mind. There it's all brute. It's like force and fighting. So that gives you like a gladiator, like, oh, I'm the man. I got this testosterone. Where baseball is just like chill and you fail more. They gotta be chill. And kind of have that even keel about yourself.
That was a lot. What's the
and
coolest?
Also, let me tell you this: you could scruff rub a baseball guy. You know what I'm saying? Like we go chin to chin.
Yeah, a guy to another guy. Yeah. You want to do that on this podcast? Probably not. Yeah. You got what? What does that mean?
Segment we're doing?
What's a scruff rub?
Scruff rub? It's just a little like chin to chin. Just like, it's just for good luck.
You can't do that in baseball. You can't do that in football.
No.
Yeah. We're gonna ask you about the one time you brought A-Rod to Tin Roof.
Oh my gosh.
I've heard a little about this.
Wait. Yeah. That wasn't my idea.
No. Every time you take someone to Tin Roof, you go, that wasn't my idea.
Uh-huh.
Wait, was it Broadway or Demumbrian?
Demumbrian.
Bro, what?
Yes.
You took A-Rod to Tin Roof Demumbrian.
So we're, treating them with a VIP,
How is that involved in any of the VIP plans?
No, I mean,
what year was this?
The thing is Jess has been here since 2007. So Tin Roof was like the spot, right?
No, Tin Roof is still the spot.
Is it?
Yeah, dude. Okay. When's the last time you've been out?
The last time I've been to Tin Roof was that time. It didn't feel like the spot anymore. There's a bunch of college kids.
That's why it's so ridiculous that you pulled up with them, dude.
I know. And Jess is like, you know what? Let's go to the spot that like I used to go to all the time.
Wait, so
awesome.
Your wife?
Yeah, Jess
and who else? Oh, because you hang with them.
Yeah, him and his nephew.
Well, they were at your house when I was over there. Wasn't somebody was there?
No, that was that was his assistant.
Okay, all right,
Elena.
Yeah. All right. So Jesse goes, let's go to Tin Roof. Like, was the 1230 Club around then? Was like,
oh yeah, it was all around.
This was what, a couple of years ago?
This was like last year. Yeah. We show up and it was pure chaos. I'm like, oh shoot.
Of course.
And she knew. She's like, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't know. Like, but
there's no even like VIP area. No. There's nowhere to. You just like at the bar. Some guy's ordering like a vodka cranberry and a cheeseburger,
just
and you're
a
like
bucket of high noons.
And it's not like he's your Vanderbilt typical student, walking in.
Yeah, sure, it was a little weird, but on the net, it was a positive. It was a positive. You cannot be serious. On the net, it's a positive.